Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Welcome back to take 3.
Oh, she did such a good job, didn't she?
Getting there.
I think she was awesome. I am a little bit partial, though. So on Heart's OMMM last night, we did get one up, and we were just talking about the information that came to us from the guides yesterday as we started our day in typical way, about 6 a.m. with mantras. And, then we had an interesting happening, and we share it over on Heart's OMMM. So, again, this is truly spiritual warfare, which literally means, really, if you want to define what spiritual warfare is, it's really multi-dimensional warfare.
Mm-hmm. And, yesterday was really, it turned out to be a very wonderful surprise. We didn't expect that to happen. It was great.
And so it seems that some people got messages, some people didn't get messages, some people got 3 or 4 messages in multiple languages. We had everything off, and we stayed with everything off for most of the day, and we didn't get any messages. So, it didn't come through to us. At least we didn't get any messages from the dark control system. We did get messages from higher density beings about what is really going on. And again, this is all about keeping people under control.
They need to do that. They need to do all kinds of different tactics to keep people under control. And one of them is the belief system, keeping people in a box. That is so very important that they have people's belief systems in the palm of their hand.
Yeah, excuse me, guys, as my throat chakra is getting attacked again, big time. It's one way or another. And so, again, you'll see a lot of tweets out there. Nothing happened. See, there's nothing happened. But the reality is, just like we were talking about the energy of September 23rd through 25th, a lot of things happened. Things are set in motion. And if you look at today's news, which we're going to, for me, I could see that there's a lot set in motion. I do think that was a test. I think that was an effort to block certain energies and frequencies, block consciousness raising. And there's many ways they can do it. One of the things they can do is keep us in fear. And yes, fear is the enemy, per se. It can cause a restriction of our energy field. If we're all of a sudden hit with something that is scary to us, our energy retracts. It doesn't expand. And this is exactly what they want to have occur. But we're seeing through it. This is a tweet from Terror Alarm, which says that they are non-state affiliated. They say they're agenda free. AI-generated news and views. This is artificial intelligence saying that Russia hit a hospital in Kherson with all patients and doctors inside of it. That's a horrible thing. But this is the same event being covered by who? U.S. Civil Defense News, which is retired military officer, former political advisor to NATO 3-star general, former congressional staffer, wounded warrior Iraq veteran. They say that the hospital was a military command center and an ammunition depot with all the soldiers and equipment inside it. So which is it? Or maybe it's both. Maybe it's both. It's amazing to me how so often when we look even at, say, the Bible and we look at events, that people will take it as black and white. Well, you got to believe this or you got to believe that. But what if the answer is both, but also not in the way that we are given? So everything about this world is all about controlling our viewpoint, controlling the way we're viewing events. Let me say that again. This is all about controlling the way we view events. I don't think I can understate the importance of seeing that. The lens, the glasses that we see the world through, they've laid those glasses out there for you. They've either handed them directly to you or they've left them there for you to pick up and put on your own and start to look at things from their perspective, which could be just completely diametrically opposed positions. This is another big thing we have to realize. They make out whether the left or the right wins. They make out whether socialism wins, whether communism wins, whether atheism wins, whether Islam wins, or Christianity. It doesn't matter, as long as we're always in their view of the bigger picture, using their terms, because those are the only terms that unfortunately so many people know, is the terms that they've given us, even when those meanings to those terms now are not the same as they were just even 100 years ago. There's a term, and I'll go back to my school days, and we recognized it. There was a term which can be viewed in a derogatory matter, which I don't even hear anymore. I'll spell it for you: fagot. And literally, in my mom's day and age, that meant a bundle of wood. Would you go grab that fagot and bring it over here? I'm trying to build the fire up. And in my age, it was a derogatory term, and I don't even know if people say that anymore, honestly. See, this is how words, terms change over time. And that really distorts our view. Words often have more than one meaning, and they are so good at twisting meanings. And now you got the Biden administration saying they need a wall immediately. We got to waive all these regulations and build a border wall because the crisis is totally out of control. As you see Colin Rook here saying 4 years ago, this was a nasty thing to say. You're dividing people. Now, what we should obviously take from this happens one day after that test. 2 days after Russia just tested, their system for getting everybody out of the way of nuclear missiles. Again, they do have the space and the wherewithal to bring their population to safety underground. At least a very high percentage of their population. There's none of that here in the U.S. The only ones that get saved is the power structure itself. And that should give you a clue as to who they want to survive the chaos that is right on our doors. And so they waived 26 federal laws, so much of which are things like the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, all the climate change agenda stuff that they're harping on so much. They're waiving it. Wow, things must really be bad. No, it just simply means, as this statement says, it's too freaking late.
Mm-hmm. They really seem to very much enjoy this game where they use the laws to their advantage whenever they need them. And this is probably the biggest use of gaslighting that I have ever seen. And a lot of people are going to be very angry, rightfully angry, but I think we need to be very careful where we place that, because this is multi-layers. There's other entities that are also banking on our emotion because they feed off of it. So there's several different things going on here. And one thing that seems to help is when you stand back and you realize it is gaslighting to a high degree, you're able to place that anger somewhere else where maybe you can use it in a positive way to get yourself prepared for, what's coming down the pipes, because they definitely do not want people to be in control of their own lives. They don't want people to be in control of their own health. Their belief system is critical that they control the belief system. So they come at this at several different angles. And our perception is so important for them to control our perception. And what I do is I look back on my life and I remember my aha moments. I remember my epiphanies. And then you get a really good signature of that change in perception. And then when you can feel that and see that clearly, you can see it when they're doing it. And when you can see it when they're doing it, then that puts you in the driver's seat of your own belief system and disallows them to continue driving your bus. This is your experience. This is something for you to bring expansion to your soul. And it's like it's been hijacked, and they're going to do what they need to do to take that away from you because they need your energy.
That's it. They're tapping into your source spark, and that's what they're trying to do. And so in a stunning reversal of everything that's been said for the last 7 years by the left, and just months after the Biden administration was caught selling portions of 45's border wall, or so they label it, on a government surplus website, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is citing an acute immediate need to waive dozens of federal laws in order to build a border wall in South Texas. Well, I saw the stats that showed that I think it was about 2/3 of the population of Tucson, Arizona came over just in the section of border right over in the greater Tucson area, just south of it, in this last year. Can you imagine that? I mean, this is a massive invasion of just incredible proportions going on, and it's not just the U.S. This is a global plan. As we had said before, is this the end of all nation states? Yeah, this is part of their plan, and that should tell you where we are. We are at that, there's a big button. It's bright red, and it says, press this in case of Great Reset need. They're pressing the button. They're pressing the button because, again, it's all going to crumble down around them. And people are waking up very, very fast. So what does this tell us? Well, quite simply, it tells us that we're at a different stage right now. We're really at a different stage as you see the New York City mayor going to Latin America to start the process of understanding the flow of migrants. Well, why doesn't he go to the UN? Because the UN's the one that started this ball rolling. Again, the North American Union, the union of all of the Americas. This is all, this has all been laid out. It goes back to old Rockefeller plans. It goes way, way back. It literally goes back to the Roman Empire, and it goes back to Samaria again. It goes back to the Anunnaki and the draconian real power structure that's in place. So, this is just all for show at this point. And yeah, they're going to say we reacted too slow. They're going to say we dropped the ball. So sorry. And it's okay if y'all want to boot us out. We could understand that because, again, they're just going to go to some island somewhere, or maybe even they'll go off planet. I know that sounds crazy to some people. Wait a minute, you believe in a spinning ball? Oh my, you're crazy. Yeah, we know everything is flat. Don't fall off the edge there. Be careful. Yeah, this guy, maybe he's going to go interview this guy who has tattoos on him. Yeah, it's okay. I have a tattoo too. But, so many of these people are in gangs that looks like a gun on the side of the head. What are you trying to say with that? That I don't know. Is that an AR or an AK? I couldn't get a good look at it. But, yeah, what are you trying to say? I mean, is he part of MS-13? Is he part of which cartel? Because again, the cartels are going to be running the show along the borders. Not just in the borders, the cartels are up in Minnesota and Milwaukee. They're up in Canada. Yeah, see, again, all those things that we heard for years about how the government and the alphabet soups are tied in to the illegal and the legal sides of the trade of substances that can alter minds and turn you into mindless zombies, which can easily be controlled and used as cattle for these dark energies. This is all the big reveal. They're excited not just because of $2,200 a month. They're excited about being part of the new power structure. Yeah, what we have going on is a repeat in history. The guide said it's going to look like 45 is gone. This was before the actual election happened. And those of you that have been following us, like our good brother Keith, who always states up, you guys are amazing. And thank you, Keith. It's not really us. We're just channels of information. But the guide said that 45 is going to look like he's gone, but he's not really gone. No, he has a part to play in this. He has a big part to play in this. And when he took center stage, I had like my gut was rolling. And then when he was going against HRC, I knew that if HRC got in there, it meant that we were going to go down one path, which would be a quicker path to destruction. If he got in there, then that path to destruction would be pushed off a few years. But in reality, I've had to kind of rethink that. I don't think HRC ever would, even though the power structure, yes, they do fight amongst themselves. They are full of ego. We do understand that. And they all want to be the top puppet, so to speak. That's just natural. It's a given. And yes, there are some of them that would love to treat us much better than others. There are some that would, they wouldn't even, if you were going to go into an operation, give you any sort of sedative. They would just start right at it. And then there are others that are going to give you the sedative before they operate, so to speak. But at the same time, they're all part of that power structure. And they are within the system, which, being in the system, you can't really get out of the system. It's got to be about setting up alternatives and shifting the masses' power away from their power structure. So, yeah, here he's talking about, can he be the House? Would he be considering being the House Speaker? He said he would do it. So, again, you have a lot of people that are, jumping on the ball here. And again, this is all about sowing the seeds of civil unrest right before everything goes crazy. Now, the guides also showed us a scene which we interpreted, and we can be fallible. We interpreted to be somewhere around June next year, 2024, June 2024, volcanic activity in the Pacific Northwest is what we saw. And we also saw troops that feel like a Chinese-Russian invasion coming down through Canada and into the U.S., actual warfare going on U.S. soil. And, that's only 8 months away. And again, I think the only way we can shift these timelines is by a great, great awakening. So, this is something that's going to give a lot of people hope. Now, this guy, Travis, he says that, if 45 does take over, presides over the entire House, decides who sits on what committee, brings votes to the floor. He writes he's second in line, but the VP is still second in line. But it does end up bringing up some very, very curious possibilities for unrest like we haven't even seen yet. And again, they've been trying to goad us into this, but people haven't been going for it. And here's Representative Jim Jordan throwing his hat in the ring. So he respectfully asks for your support for Speaker of the House of Representatives. I think if you were laying odds, he would have a good chance. But again, it's not about, what is realistic odds and not. It's all about what do they have planned. It's just that simple. What is the next scene in this drama that we are watching? And just watch this, and then I'm going to shut up a moment and let my beautiful wife speak. Just listen. Just look at the face too. Note this.
Whether or not that they're asking, what's your advice to the next House Speaker?
That's above my pay grade. Yeah, there's delight there. There's delight there. And there's an overshadowing here that's so clear. That smile it's not a human smile. It's a very, very draconian smile. As he comes around, it's like, oh, wait till you see what we have in mind for you.
They just have such a heyday with this stuff, playing the game of good cop, bad cop, playing with our emotions. It's what they do, and even though we can look at people and hope that they get in because they think if a certain person gets in, well, things are going to be different. I have yet to see us getting any of our taxes back, any of our rights back. I haven't seen 1 ounce of any backpedaling when it comes to passing certain laws that, take our freedoms away, no matter who's in office, no matter who is in office. And I don't think we can lose sight of that. It's always good to have hope. We need to have hope, but have hope in yourself. Don't think that someone else is going to take the reins and make a whole bunch of changes, because just like Mike was saying, the surgery is going to happen, whether we get something for pain or not, it doesn't matter. They're going to do this surgery where they're going to try to cut people's freedoms off to the very nub and watch people struggle until they give in to the control structure, because that's what they need. It's their lifeblood. You look at any parasite and they need to feed off of something. They need us. So that it's not like they're going to give up super easy. They're not just going to throw up their hands and walk away. No, they're going to do what they need to do to stay alive. Any living entity, their cells are programmed to want to live. And it's the most powerful program that you could ever imagine, to live. And that's what we're up against. So we have to understand that, look at how the control structure is operating, and we need to mirror that for ourselves, because I not only want to live, I want to be free.
Yeah, this is just a shell. This is just a puppet. As we've said, the real JB died shortly after his son died. This is not the same entity. And again, a lot of people know that. You could sense that. It. Air Force successfully tested new secret stealth missile with Mach NUKE, reports reveal. If you look at everything that's going on, why are they doing this right now? Ukraine freaking out. Billions of aid may stop after McCarthy ouster. Should the U.S. taxpayers continue to fund the war? No. and of course, we shouldn't fund this whole system. We need to develop alternatives. We need to get out of the system. As you see, this is part of the drills going on in Russia. Chilling moment, nuke incoming siren sound. School kids wear gas masks and war drills. Just cry for the people all around the world. There are some great works of art that have been done, literary as well as even movies, that really, really can hit home and do hit home about the travesty and tragedy of war, where literally, people might be growing up on opposite sides of a border, might even be casual friends that end up fighting each other in the field and not even realizing that they just killed their friend that happened to be on the other side of the border in war. It's constructed to destroy souls. So, this is why from day one we've been saying things like, which is not popular, but, if you view yourself as a patriot of any nation on the planet, you still don't get it. Nations are arbitrary. They're always changing. They're a tool to be used. And when there's no more need for nation states, they'll eliminate that. And they've already kind of got us ready for that next step. Meanwhile, Russia's withdrawing Black Sea Fleet vessels from Crimea base after Ukraine attacks. So, after these drone attacks now, they are moving them out of position. We're getting very close. I do think that the toughest times for us here in the U.S. are more, and again, this would be for most NATO nations, are more towards spring and summer, but I do think that they will activate to a much higher level the sleeper cells that are in place And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we did see the European theater kick off again. Poland, Belarus. You know, things can go south in so many areas. It could be in Syria, again, the Balkans. Now, you know, again, Kosovo, Serbia, Armenia, Azerbaijan. You know, it's just, of course, Taiwan. I mean, it could be anywhere. You know, they would benefit in some ways if there was another theater. So then we could have that talk going out of draft and conscription to, again, weaken the U.S. as we're at 17 days of oil left in this country. 17 days in our strategic reserves and bullets to last a week in an all-out confrontation. Yeah, again, you know, this is all part of a script. As you see, American Apocalypse, 71% don't trust the U.S. government to prevent doomsday. Then what good is it? It's no good. It's no good. And at the same time, does that mean they're going to ever give up power? They won't give up power. Oh, no, because they're all about power. Yeah, it's really interesting to look at some of these surveys and really see that even though we know government is worthless from the point of view of serving the public, there's this almost feeling that there's nothing we can do about it. Well, you know, I do think, again, the public is waking up, but it is too slow. And 71% have no faith in the U.S. government to save them or prevent a doomsday event. What type of doomsday event do they expect? Oh, over half think it's going to be a form of climate change. That's the number one. 55.8% think that it's going to be climate change. Well, you know, again, we have a lot of work to do. You got to recognize that there's geoengineering. There's all sorts of harps being played, not by angels. A third believe another virus will sweep the globe, and a quarter fear the start of World War III. Another 7% are betting on alien invasion, and 7% think that it's going to be the year, 2024 will be the year that zombies finally walk on the earth. Well, you know, again, the masses are probably going to have the numbers in the wrong way because they're still in the system. And it's so perplexing, isn't it, guys? It's like, it makes your head tilt. What is wrong with these people that they can't see? Stop eating the junk food. Stop drinking the fluoridated water. Stop just destroying your brain cells. Get clear. Eat, drink, and be merry, somebody said, you know, and no, it's actually kind of the opposite of it. Be merry. Absolutely. You need to be merry. Be jovial. Have fun. Absolutely. But again, engorging on things that have GMOs in them and all sorts of intoxicants, as well as worse things that are floating around in our food system that will end up self-replicating in us if we consume them. It's time to sober up, get very, very clear, because quite obviously it's going to a new level.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to be that support system for their circus tent. You definitely want to do anything you can and everything you can to take out your support from them. And you know, the number one thing I always say is your health. Look at your health. Do what you can to be self-sustaining, because they do everything they can to pull us into the medical system, even though our bodies might simply be changing and we're going through an ascension. They are ready there with a clipboard and a piece of paper for anyone who has any woes about the ascension process, because it can be very, very difficult. It can be very painful. There can be a lot of anxiety. There can be a lot of fear. But these are all things to bring us expansion. They're not things to be erased and pushed away and ignored. We need to process so we can go to a different place, so that we're not here in the 3D playing with them. I don't like to play on their playground. I want to go play with other people on their playground, you know, with their puppies and their kitties, and, you know, fill my heart full of love with these little four-legged creatures, these little angels of earth that are here to help us through our toughest times. And oh my gosh, these guys are just so adorable. A vacuum cleaner per puppy, though.
Yeah. So again, guys, just recognize the place that we're at. So we need to be as prepared as possible. We need to double check things like, our ability to purify water. They've talked about water lately after the climate. So we need to recognize, have duplicity when it comes to water filtration, etc. Understand what your water filtration does and what it doesn't do. So, we do have a little bit of time to get ourselves a little bit more organized before the chaos gets even more organized.
Indeed.
So